Now moving on to our next and final speaker for the evening, Beth Shaw founded Yoga Fit Training Systems in 1994. Since then, she has revolutionized the fitness industry by bringing yoga into the mainstream with her inclusive and impactful style of yoga. As a change maker, her work has challenged industrialized wellness and paved the way for a responsible approach to all around wellness. She has written 4 books about the mind and body, including Yoga Fit, Yoga Lean, The Yoga Fit Athlete, and her latest best-selling book, Healing Trauma with Yoga and Mind-Body Techniques. Beth believes that wellness is different for everyone, which requires a unique mixture of physical, psychological, mental, emotional, and spiritual practices to accomplish those goals. Recently, she has created an online community to share coping tips, healing practices, and bring people together at this stressful time. And we also want to remember our people with disabilities that are at home, our parents and our children. And thank you, Beth, for joining us this evening and sharing your expertise.
Thank you, Assemblymember Seawright. This is such an important topic, so thank you so much for providing this forum. We're suffering from a secondary pandemic right now, and that is really the mental health crisis. Calls are up 50% across the country to mental health crisis lines. Addiction is, people are relapsing like crazy. Opioid, alcohol sales are up. So we've got a real crisis on our hands that's going to be probably a lot more long-lasting than the current COVID-19 pandemic. So again, thank you so much for addressing this. There are many different tools that one can use to manage their mental health. And in times where people are suffering from loneliness, domestic violence, eating abuse, alcohol, substance abuse, it's really critical that we all find coping skills that are healthy. And many people are not used to being left alone with their own thoughts 24/7. And so my first tip to everyone would be to really start to notice your self-talk and to try to change it. There are many different, positive affirmations that we can listen to off of YouTube and things that will infuse us with positivity. I myself, and that's why I wrote this book, Healing Trauma with Yoga, suffer from depression and a mood disorder. And I've got all the tools and I'm still struggling during this pandemic. So I'm sure that a lot of other people are as well. Obviously, the book is called Healing Trauma with Yoga. It's not just yoga, but they're breathing techniques that we can do. Definitely, we have to move our bodies every day. Alcohol, doing exercise will prevent you from perhaps wanting to drink alcohol. I think exercise is the best medicine. So getting your body moving every day is critical. Some cardio if you can. I know all the gyms are closed because they're non-essential businesses. But there's lots of old school workouts you can do, push-ups, sit-ups. Obviously, yoga can be done anywhere at any time. I'm offering free yoga classes online 5 days a week. You can find out about those through the Yoga Fit Facebook page or off of my Instagram, Beth Shaw Mind Body. But there are many different things that we can do to take care of ourselves, including clean eating, exercising, yoga, breathing exercises. There are many different natural supplements that are available to help with mood. I'm doing like headstands every day. I'm putting a red light in my face. You can take a very cold shower. That will also change your psychology very quickly. So there are many things that people can do at home. But again, I'll take it back to the self-talk, which is so very important. And when one finds themselves going into a downward spiral, it's time for a different action. Perhaps it's time to go outside and take a walk. It's time to stand on your head if you can for 15 minutes. It's time to do some yoga. And really, again, what we're putting in our bodies is critical to how we feel. We have a 43% obesity rate in this country, which is another crisis that we need to address and start talking about. And it's a well-known fact that anyone who is obese is going to be a lot more susceptible to dying from the coronavirus. So I would like to see that taken care of. It's one of the reasons why this country has been so hard hit. On that, I'll leave it open to any questions that anyone has.
Thank you, Beth. And we do have some questions. Given the increased emphasis on remote learning, how can software-based therapy tools be used to supplement mental health care?
Well, right now, your only choice of therapy may be to do teletherapy, which I think is an amazing resource and is rather widely available right now. And, you know, again, the calls to the crisis lines, the suicide hotlines are up 50, 60% if you can volunteer your time at any of those, as I am doing. That's hugely beneficial. But definitely taking advantage of teletherapy is a great idea for anyone who is suffering.
Great. And here's another question. I'm working from home. How can I mark the end of my workday with the start of personal time? And how can I disconnect? I know Esther's shared some things earlier about how we can disconnect. How do we mark the end of the workday when you're working from home and the start of that personal time?
Well, that's an excellent question, because I myself am a business owner, so I struggle with that also. I find myself working pretty much around the clock now. What I've started to do is, and I also have a dog, so that gets me out walking a lot. And thank you to all of you who have taken dogs out of the shelters in New York City and are fostering. That's awesome. It's a great way to make yourself get moving. I like to take my lunchtime outside for a walk. I start my day, obviously, with a long walk with my dog. I would say take breaks. Take breaks frequently to move your body. Every 2 hours or so, you should be getting up, doing some kind of a chest expansion, something, because, you know, sitting over our laptops or our phones all day, we're always in forward flexion, which is actually very bad for us psychologically. So doing back bends and opening, literally opening up your heart center, your lungs, doing some deep breathing, getting up, I have a friend who's an attorney. She's working she's working like 18, 20 hours a day. She says she gets up and she does like 100 squats or some push-ups. So the body needs to move. Our bodies were built to move, not sit all day long. So it's critical to build in those periods of time where you are moving your body, and build them in often.
And how can beginners with yoga connect with a trainer in quarantine? Are there lessons for beginners out there?
There are lots of lessons. I mean, my classes, I offer 3 different modifications on each pose. Again, I'm offering free classes as my give back during this crisis. You can find the schedule on my Instagram, Beth Shaw Mind Body, or on our Yoga Fit Facebook page. And, you know, doing something is better than doing nothing. If you're a beginner, this is a great time to start yoga, even if you're just going to do a couple of yoga stretches after you've gone out for your walk or your run.
And another question, my sleep schedule has been disruptive. How can I get it back to a healthy sleep schedule?
I, again, recommend movement so that you are physically tired. I recommend trying to develop a meditation practice. Now is a great opportunity for everyone to start meditating. Again, there are many different meditations off of YouTube that you can try, perhaps, and try different ones. Maybe a guided meditation is something that's going to work well for you. Maybe just repeating a mantra will work for you. So try a bunch of different meditations, listen to different things off of YouTube, and see which one really resonates for you.
Are there any tips on switching up your daily routines?
That's a good question. You know, I'm walking the same track here over in Dumbo, you know, 7 days a week, but I've tried to, I use my home exercise bike a couple of days a week. I have a couple of weights at home. I try to do that a few days a week. I try to make myself a little exercise menu so that I can pick and choose, kind of like a, you know, Chinese menu for food. And you need to pick the A plate, the B plate, or the C plate, but please just pick a plate every day, pick a plate, even if it's a small plate, pick a plate of movement. Your body will thank you, and your mind will thank you. Your cognitive function will thank you. Your mood will thank you. Again, I can't emphasize the importance of moving your body now.
And what tips can you give to our older population, our disabled population that have mobility issues to keep moving? And for people that may not be able to stand at all or stand for long periods of time?
You know, I used to teach yoga at my grandmother's retirement center. She lived to 105 years old. She walked a lot and ate healthy. There are lots of chair exercises that you can do, any type of range of motion exercises. If you can lift your legs off of a chair, lift your arms, do some deep breathing, do some chest expansions. Again, whether, you know, the good thing about yoga is that you're moving within your own range of motion, whatever that is. So everyone can feel successful within their own personal range of motion. It's called yoga practice for a reason, not yoga perfection. And that means that we're all just practicing, going from the place that we are and trying to get just a little bit better. And if you challenge yourself to try to get 10% better every month, you're going to see that you'll come out of this crisis stronger than when you started. Just go for that self-improvement. You know, maybe it's time to reduce your news consumption, feed yourself with positive things, try to learn something new. And again, keep moving.
Terrific. Thank you, Beth, for joining us this evening.
So much.
And now on to